Welcome to the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Podcast. Today, I have my great friend, Mr. Corey Geary, all the way from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
That's what they do when they get rich, man. They just go all the way to PR to avoid paying those high taxes that we Americans pay. Um, so, Corey, how have you been, my friend?
Oh, I'm truly blessed, man. Thanks for having me on today. I greatly appreciate it, man. It's always fun.
It's always fun to reconnect with you, man. We've done a lot of things together. We've done
Deals.
I don't know how many podcasts we've done now.
We've done a couple.
This is probably 3 or 4 now, number 4 maybe. We've done deals, we've done workshops, we've done events.
Yep.
I've seen you go from fix and flipping to wholesaling to Amazon stores to shutting that down, and then
I lost a bunch of money in that one, bro.
and the good thing is, you honor your commitment. You actually, I remember telling you, it's like, hey Corey, I want on one of those Amazon stores, and you're like, no, don't do it, man.
Yeah.
I won't take your money. That you told me that, and I was like, what? What do you mean? You were like, nah, man, it's not working like I thought it would, and I don't want to, I don't want to do this, and I'm just gonna go do something else. And then
Yep.
you went from wholesaling, running a big team in Phoenix, Arizona, to doing novations with Novation Nations.
Yep.
Right?
It was a wild success. Novation Nation was awesome. I mean, it took my wholesale business to the next level, man. We were doing, I think, 30 deals a month at my peak with Novation Nation. And then I started teaching it too, which was awesome. So that way a lot of other people could, capitalize on that strategy. Because I still think, even if I were to go back to real estate today, which I wouldn't, but if I did, I would spin up a Novation company first and foremost, because it was just the best strategy to get deals done for me. And the way I like doing deals, and I like squeezing all the money I possibly can at every single deal. And I don't mind spending a little more time on a home. That strategy is beautiful for that.
I just got burned out of real estate.
I did too.
I mean, look, today our niche is still real estate.
Yes.
Because we are around those real estate groups, right? And I don't think I'll ever step away from real estate. We'll just be around real estate people. Maybe I'll do a flip here and there. Maybe I'll get a rental. But I don't get excited about doing a deal anymore in that way, right? And you know what, Corey? A lot of people don't talk about that, man. A lot of people they wanna pretend like they still love it when they don't.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I named this podcast "Real Estate Investor Turned into Crypto Investor." Right? Because he used the same formula for crypto, which is something that's mind blowing. So you went from Novation Nations then to, hey Ricardo, I'm gonna go do this crypto thing, and then you disappear for like literally. How long did you go away from?
Yeah, I mean, I've been out of real estate game now since 2022, and I'll kind of tell you the real quick, story on it. Like, look, I love real estate, I really do. I don't love doing it, but I love it because it saved my life, dude. Like, literally, you knew who I was. I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic. I was going nowhere fast, but to my deathbed, literally. And it was because of real estate. It got me in rooms of people like yourself. People who are trying to level up their lives mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. The financially was great, but like everything else that came along with it. And now I've been sober for multiple years, right? It's going to be a decade here in a couple of years, which is crazy. I got a beautiful family, and I live in Puerto Rico. And really all that is due because of real estate. But then I tell people also, even though it saved my life, I also built what was called a 7-figure prison. That's what I tell people. Like, I had this incredible business where I was doing 30 deals a month. I had this big team, and I thought that's what I wanted, right? Like, that's what the gurus kind of sell you on.
That's what we all think we want.
It's what we think we want, right? Like this big money making machine. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And then I get there, and I'm like, this is not what I want.
That is not it. Yeah,
I'm in a prison. I'm in these lawsuits like crazy, and like, And so, like, I went on, kind of went on a spiritual journey in 2022, man. I don't know if you ever read the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Absolutely phenomenal book. I read that book, and what it teaches you is how to stop clawing your way in life to success and let God guide you in your life to success. And so, and that's what I went on a mission to start doing. And I was already kind of dabbling with cryptocurrency. I had came in the 2019 bull run. I was playing over in the Phantom ecosystem. I got some of my crypto buddies in right now commenting. I see them here. I'm streaming to my YouTube. These guys are the Hexicans and Pulsicans. I love these guys. But yeah, I
What's
started.
shaking Hexicans? That's what they.
Yeah, these are my
Bill
boys, man. They're
is
coming in. Yeah,
hit the like button, Belgian Hexican. There you go. Shout out to those
yeah.
guys.
Keep commenting, guys. Let's go. Let's flood the chats up over
I
here.
love it. I love it.
But yeah, man. So I was already dabbling with crypto, and I knew like cryptocurrency was the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. I knew that it created, this is a fun fact, it created more millionaires and billionaires from 2020 and beyond than any other asset class. So I'm thinking to myself, like, why am I putting my 10,000 hours? Because that's what it takes to be an expert in any like skill set, right? If you in business, investing. Why am I putting 10,000 hours into real estate when I should be putting 10,000 hours into this vehicle that is extremely more fast, making more millionaires and billionaires? And I feel like I'm the one of my family to change the trajectory, right, of my family tree, to break the chains and curse of mediocrity, to break the 9-to-5 curse, the 401k scams for my lineage. Well, real estate, it will get me there maybe 30, 40, 50 years to be able to do something like that. With crypto, man, people are doing this in one cycle, which is every cycle is 4 years. And I'm like, man, I need to pay attention to this, at least look at what's going on over here. And I did that. I started getting deep in it. I went to events. I joined masterminds. I started treating it like Ricardo. I started treating it just like I treated real estate. I started really leaning in and taking it serious and started treating it like an asset class instead of like a casino. And by the end of 2022, I was making more passive income than for my crypto portfolio than I was making on my real estate business. And I'm like, oh, well, there it is. That was kind of God's sign to me. And that's when I did pack up my bags and move to Puerto Rico and let my whole real estate team go. And yeah, it was one of the best things I ever did. I'll tell you though, it's one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever done too. Just like when we quit our 9-to-5s, when we did real estate, like when I quit my 9-to-5, I was in the casino business. That was very uncomfortable. Like it sucked. I felt like I was going to fail, right? Because you don't know the unknown, right? You go into the unknown, you feel like you're going to fail. It was the same thing. I was going in the unknown again, and I was like, oh my gosh, all I knew was real estate and how to build this business. Now I'm gonna go do this crazy crypto thing with with my buddy Dane, and I don't know what's gonna happen, right? And so, yeah, here we are, and it was the best decision I've ever made,
bro. But it's exciting, right? So because it's new beginnings, right? When you get burned out of something and you just keep doing it because that's what pays the bills, right? That's
Yeah,
why, let's face it,
let's
you
face it. Yeah,
stay in a lane because you have to pay bills.
yeah, money.
You got a lifestyle you got to keep up with, right?
Yep,
You got the fancy car, you
yep.
got
Driving Corvettes around.
nice car, house, and then you want to go to the good restaurants.
Yep,
You want to dress well. You want the gold chain, the watches, those kind of
yep.
things, right? So you're like, okay, I got to keep doing this thing so I can keep my lifestyle. But I don't necessarily like it anymore.
Yeah.
Do I really want to be a real estate guy? That was a question I had to ask myself as well a couple of years ago, Corey. I like you, I was doing a lot of deals too. I know 30, 40, 50
Oh, I
contracts,
know. You
right?
guys are
So
cranking out in Houston.
we were cranking deals nationwide and in Houston. And um at some point I didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I don't know, I don't get fulfilled now. Like I remember hitting a $50,000 closing, and those are good, right?
You guys are great, man.
And not having any feelings whatsoever towards those 50 grand. That's fucking weird, man. I don't know how to put it because 50 grand is a person's 1 year
Some
salary,
people's, yeah,
right?
100%.
Um, and you know, your guys are here like fuck the race.
Fuck the
Yeah.
rat race.
So
That's what
right. So, but that's the truth, right? It's like I remember hitting that check, and I was like, I don't know about that anymore. Like I'm not excited about that. Those 50,000. Don't get me wrong. I needed the 50,000. It's not like I didn't need the money because I had to pay bills and do things.
it
Right.
goes back into business. It goes back into the machine.
Goes back into the machine. Let's put it back in it. Let's keep the thing rolling. Right. But at some point, I had to make a decision because I have a VA company now, and um my my team members were doing okay with me, but I had more people asking me for that labor than I needed. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, do I keep those guys under my payroll or do I just sell those guys to the people that need it and make money off of it? And it takes the responsibility away from me. So I went on this journey from running a 7-figure income real estate business into let me now start this VA company and reduce my income drastically because let's face it, the profits are not the same. It's like
No.
the rental houses, right? Is the cash flow on people is different. But once I did that, I was making less money. Don't get me wrong, Corey. I was making less money, but I was happier.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, hold on a second. Now I got all this time in the world to do other things that I didn't have time before.
Right. You
And
hit the
I
nail on
started
the head.
removing people that were sucking my time from my environment and delegating now to other people. And I'm like, oh man, maybe I can learn about crypto now. Maybe I can learn about trading watches. I love watches.
I
And
know you
so
do.
so that's something I've been learning about. And I just flipped up a couple of watches like a few weeks ago. And I was like, man, I really like that. Because and I did the same principles as we do on real estate, right?
Yep.
Which is the guy calls me up and said, hey, Ricardo, do you know somebody that buys watches? And I said, yes, I do. What do you have? And he said, oh, I got a Rolex Datejust, and my wife also a Datejust. He's a his and hers. And I said, send me the pictures, right? And the guy sends me the picture, and I can see these watches are wrapped around. They're beautiful. And then I go, do you have the box and papers? Yes, I do. They're legit. I got the box. I said, send me the pictures of the serial number on the watches and on the card because these are Rolex. Like so, the car's got the serial numbers on,
So
so
you
I
can
can
do due
check them.
diligence on it.
That's right. So he sends the pictures, and I say, hey man, how much do you want on this watch? And he tells me, and I said, all right. So I went ahead and called my dealer, and I said, hey man, I got these two watches. Here's the pictures. Here's the cards. How much will you pay for them? And he told me, and I said, perfect. They're yours. I was in Spain. I wasn't even in the US. I was on vacations in Spain. The guy went to the jewelry store. He delivered the watches. He got paid in cash. And then the guy that bought the watches said, what do I do with the rest? I said, you send them to me. So he's like, dude, how much did you buy those watches for? I said, I don't know, but the other guy told me he wanted. I paid him what he wanted, and you're paying me what you wanted to pay. Uh, Everybody wins.
You got the you wholesaled.
We wholesale the watches, right?
Yep.
Now, I've never touched them. I only saw them on a picture, which is what we do on houses, right?
That's what we used to do in houses all the
That
time.
is the same freaking thing. So then I started thinking, maybe I start because I wanna get some more watches on my watch box. I will like I got a watch winder and shit, and they turn
Yeah,
and
Richard Hart, the creator of Hex and Pulse Chain, he's got a just stacks of these watch boxes with Rolexes turning around in the background. So when he streams, there's these like Rolexes just turning around, and man, it looks sharp, bro.
dude, you gotta see
It's
my
sexy.
box. I don't show my watch much because like I don't know, I don't want to show them. But anyhow, I do have them, and I got a few watches. But I said maybe I can add more boxes with more watches. What if I start trading something that I really enjoy, right?
Right.
Which comes down to what you do in crypto.
Yep.
And you told me one day, Ricardo, I'm doing crypto like I do real estate. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, man, some of these moves that we make, we cash flow on them. You can borrow against them. You can do, and I was like, all right, Corey found something that he's very passionate about, that he took the time to, because I know you put your head down for a little bit. You disappear from my radar. Even though I know I got you on speed dial, I can always call you and you'll answer the phone. But you disappear from the whole real estate
The real estate space.
space because you went to study and educate yourself on what you're doing today, right?
That's it.
And you told me. So how long did it take you from number one? Let's talk about. Yeah, I know, Paul's Jitsu. You're here for the tech. Uh,
That's Fast Abdul, man.
the,
I
the,
always tell him he's here for the tech. I'm here for the gains, bro. I'm here
the,
for the gains. You're here for the tech.
the I don't know what rat means.
Oh,
Belgian
the rat
Mexican.
race. He was correct. He says F the rat race.
Oh, okay. And then you got, if what you are after is the blame just to peacock, you won't survive. That's right. That's true. That's why I don't show my boxes, man. Now I am not as rich as that guy from X,
Richard
right?
Hart.
He can show them all, but he's right. If you're in it to peacock, you won't survive. Um, and then Hexican Michelle, hi. All right, man.
Hello, hello.
Man, they're all coming in today. I am here for the tech. So we're gonna get to the tech in a while, but let me tell you what happens is sometimes what happens before the tech is just as important as what happens during the tech. Why? Because I'm very interested in knowing, and not only me, but also all the real estate people that are listening to this podcast. By the way, my podcast, guys, I know all you guys are here on the crypto on Corey's side. My followers are real estate investors,
Yep.
and it's very inspiring to see someone that made it outside of real estate, like Corey, right? Because crypto is not really real estate; it's something else. It's a different asset class.
Digital
Uh,
assets.
yeah, it's just another asset class, right? That a lot of guys like me and Corey today are burned out and don't know what to do.
Yep.
They don't. I call it real estate burnout is a real thing. And Corey, I want to know what was your thinking process from, man, I'm freaking tired of novations. I'm freaking tired of closings not happening fast enough. I don't want to run or large acquisitions in this positions team anymore.
Jeez.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and pivot and learn
Tired of the
crypto.
lawsuits.
Right.
It's tough, man, because there's a breaking point. I just had my daughter. I'd gone sober, which was one of the best things I ever did in my whole life. But I was working 16 hours a day, hiring and firing like crazy, just trying to make that machine keep working, because it was just like I had to pay the bills. I had to keep feeding it, and it was big. It was a big machine, man. And that was a dream that we were sold on, that we had to build, and it was great, for a little while. But man, you get so burnt out when you can't spend time with your loved ones. You get so burnt out when you can't spend time with your friends. You get so burnt out when you don't have time to think for yourself, because you're wrapped up in the business. You're losing sleep at night. There's always, this, that, and the other problem. I mean, at any given time, bro, I was in like 3 lawsuits too. I mean, this, how that shit goes. You're getting sued from left and right, from homeowners. You're suing buyers. And it's just like, there's no peace of mind whatsoever. And it's misery, man. And you don't even have time to spend your money. It's great. You're making this money. Maybe you buy a Corvette, which I did. But other than that, you don't have really time to go out there and do what really matters with money. Because what really matters is creating experiences with our loved ones. And memories and experiences are what I believe we take on beyond the afterlife. And we want to be able to create as much of those with our loved ones and friends as possible. And how can we do that if we're a slave to something? If we're a slave working 16 hours a day and just to make a buck, how can you do that? And I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking oh, my dad, yeah, he had a lot of money.
He was never around.
He was never around. And I didn't want that. And that really kept me up at night and bothered me, man. And when I read that book, The Untethered Soul, that really opened my eyes to the way I was living my life. And I was thinking to myself, man, what is the next iteration for me? You know, maybe it is this crypto thing because it kept calling to me, right? And I had already been dabbling with it. I'm like, what if I took it serious and treat it like an asset class, you know, and stop treating it like a casino? What would happen if I put 10,000 hours of research into this the way I did real estate, right? Like we all did. We all got 10,000 hours in real estate. It's great. And but what would happen if I did it over here? You know, a lot of people are getting wealthy, and maybe I can buy my time back. And that's what I did. That's what I was able to do. I was able to buy my time back. We treat crypto like we treat real estate. When we analyze a deal, we look, hey, we're looking for a project with a good track record. For example, like Richard Hart with Hex, he's got a track record because he created Pulse Chain. Hex did a 10,000x last cycle, made multiple millionaires. In fact, there's 30 Hexicans that live on this island here in Puerto Rico because of last cycle when Hex did a 10,000x. And so now he's coming out and he's like, hey, I'm going to do this Pulse Chain thing, a brand new blockchain. It's like, wait, this guy has a track record. He knows what the fuck he's doing. And he's an honest guy. And so you want to look for good track record. You want to look for good fundamentals. Does it solve a problem in the marketplace? So you got to understand crypto on a very granular level to see what problems are out there, understand. But once you do understand crypto and how blockchain works, you can see like, oh, he's creating this because it's going to have faster blocks. He's creating this because it's cheaper fees. It's, you know, just a bigger open lane highway compared to other blockchains. Like this makes sense why he's creating this. And does it have community? Yeah, it does. Some of the communities commenting in the chat right now. This is the community. And this is a very small portion of that community. I mean, the communities, there's over 300,000 people who are, you know, long and strong on this protocol. And so, yeah, it's got that. Does it have great tokenomics? Absolutely. For example, PulseX has a buy and burn where every time someone does a transaction on the decentralized exchange, a piece of that transaction goes off and buys and burns the PulseX token. Well, the price chart is reflected in that. It's the best price chart, in my opinion, and almost all crypto right now. It's this big, giant pin. It's about to explode. It's absolutely bonkers, Ricardo. You should pick up a little bag of that if you ever get bored because it's going to go to the moon. But like, you just look at the same things that you looked at for real estate, right? When you're looking at a deal, like when I'm doing a deal with somebody, like so me and you are going to do a deal, obviously I don't got to do my research on you because I know who you are. Like we're friends and we've known each other for a long time.
Right.
But if I didn't know you, I'm going to do my due diligence on you. I'm going to do my research on you. I know what to look for. When I look at a property, that you have a buy box. You're like, okay, does it fit my buy box? Right? You have, if it doesn't, if there's one thing that's outside the buy box, you're not going to buy that property because you can't make an ROI, or maybe the risk is too high for the ROI at the end of the movie when you go to close. And it's the same thing in crypto. You're going to address it the same way. You got to remove your emotions out of the equation, which is the hardest thing to do. That is incredibly hard because we're human, is to remove the emotions out and look at the fundamentals, look at the macro, and make your decision based off of fundamentals and math, right? Like penciling a deal. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, we make passive income. You could do lending. It's right now
Let's wind it back a little bit, Corey.
yeah,
Because you went down that rabbit hole and you're talking advanced investing strategies right now. Let's let's dumb it down a little
sure.
bit for the average real estate
The real
investor,
estate
right?
guy.
These guys have no
Yep.
idea what you're talking about, all right? Like they know about Binance, they may know about Coinbase, right? They may know about the regular
Yep.
wallets that are out there, right? Like that's what I knew. You know what? Something you don't know about me, but sometime in 2017, I was farming. I had a
Okay,
bunch
good.
of
I didn't know
miners,
that.
dude, and what happened if I don't know if you remember that cycle, but um in between 17 and
Yep.
18 the market completely dropped. So if you were farming, you were literally shit out of luck because now it costs you more for the power to mine than what you'll be mining on. I think with it we were doing Zcash and Ethereum and things like that, right? So we have a
Okay.
few like miners and stuff, and we were doing okay, but I was just starting back then. I was doing real estate. I was doing a lot of fix and flips. And I was
Yep.
attracted to crypto because it was like the new thing. The other thing you probably don't know is somewhere around 2010, I bought 200 Bitcoin. Yes,
Oh shit.
for a for
What happened
no,
to
I'll tell you
that
the
said
story right now, and
200
all your guys are
Bitcoin?
gonna laugh their ass off. So I bought them for $1 a piece. That's what they costed.
Oh, like, some of these guys in this chat were around back then, like Brizology right there.
There
He's
you
an
go.
OG
So I bought
Bitcoiner.
them for $1 a piece.
He's
I
OG.
was in London. I was working in the oil and gas business, and you know, after you go to a country so many times, Corey, that sometimes you just go lock yourself up at the hotel and you don't want to even go out anymore, right? You're beat.
Yeah,
So
because
I
you're
was
beat.
there and I was beat that time, and I was like, "What is this Bitcoin thing that people are talking about?" Right? And it wasn't even popular. It was like this new currency, and Coinbase had just opened up their wallet, and I downloaded a wallet. I opened up a wallet. I didn't download a wallet because I don't think you could download anything back then. But I opened up a wallet on my computer
Yeah.
and I linked my bank account. I put a few $100 and I went and bought 200 Bitcoins for $1 each. And then honestly, bro, I didn't know what the fuck to do with those Bitcoins for like, I don't know, a very long time. That's the time when
Ah,
people were buying pizza with Bitcoin and shit, right? Like, so,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah,
you
for
know, I,
sure,
I
for
left
sure.
$200 there and I literally quit and forgot about it. Fast forward 2015, I get laid off from my job, from the same job I was there when I was in London. And when you get laid off or fired or whatever, you start doing inventory. You're like, okay, let me do an inventory of what I got. So I started like, I'm going to this bank account.
Yep.
I got money here. I got money there. 401k here. I wonder how much money I got on that Coinbase account. So I go, oh, by the way, the phone where I was getting my notifications, I had to give that phone back to the company. So I didn't have a way to get the code to access the account. So I had to ride to Bitcoin and like, I don't have my phone anymore, kind of shit. Send me your ID. I had to do all those verifications so they can verify that I was the owner of the account. When I got
Yep.
verified, like 2 weeks later, because it was very slow, it wasn't quick like it is today. Today, you can probably get verified the same day. I opened up this account, man. I got $10,000 out of those $200. I
You're
fucking
like
got
a
rich. I'm
score.
like,
I,
I
I
got
got I
rich.
got
Like, this is,
I got runway for the next
I was
few
like, what
months.
is
I just
this
got laid
shit,
off from my
right? So,
job. I'm good to
but don't get me
go.
wrong. When I got laid off, they gave me a good package. So they gave me a lot of money to walk away from that job. So, but the 10,000
Oh,
added to that. I'm like, and plus the savings and all that. And guess what my dumb ass went and did? I cashed
sold.
it out.
Got it. You know how much that Bitcoin would be
Forget
today?
about today, dude.
I'm just gonna
So
20
in
million.
2017, 2 years later, just 2 years later, it would have been $5 million,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How did I know? Like, how would I know that? Like,
You know.
I just didn't have a way of knowing that, right? Because I look to the so how can you predict the future? You look at the past. And when I looked at the past, I said, okay,
Yep.
if from 2010, when I bought, I think it was 2010 or 2009, I forgot when it was, all the way to 2015. So that's 6, 7 years. It went up to 10,000. Well, in the next 6 or 7 years, if I analyze it like a real estate investor, which I was, okay, it's gonna double. It's not really gonna. So, do I use the 10,000 today or do I use 20,000 in the next 7 years? I rather use the 10,000 today. I got use for that, right? That
Absolutely.
was my thinking process.
Absolutely. If
But
that's the
then
case.
2 years later, when I started mining and doing all of these other things, I was kicking myself in the ass big time because I was like, oh my fucking God, dude, I could have had $5 million here on this little $200 investment, right? Um, so that
Yep.
was my story on Bitcoin and,
That's
and
wild.
miners and those sort of things.
You know how many times I hear that story though, and I not only about Bitcoin, but about Ethereum and Chainlink and all these cryptocurrencies out there, and you hear the story over and over again. In fact, these guys in the chat, some of them have this story too, right? The key thing is here. Everything in life, we should always take a step back and go, what can I learn from that story, right? And so what I right now, what I've learned this from that type of story is like, oh my God, I need to buy and hold these assets and not be so quick to sell them, right? Not so quick to trade them, not so quick to make a move out of them, but to buy and hold. And if you just buy and hold good quality assets, you can get rich beyond your wildest effing dreams. And you just, it's all you got to do in crypto. It's wild. It's the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. Listen to that. It's the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind, and people are sleeping on it. Why? Like, this will get you richer than any other asset class if you just lean in and do the work and do the due diligence and hold. Because the biggest mistake most people make, it was what you made, Ricardo, is they sell way too early. And then they look back and go, fuck, man, that was, today that's $20 million.
Well,
Holy shit, that's
Corey,
a lot of money,
the reality
right?
is, man, if I would have held on to that thing, and the moment it would have been $1 million fucking dollars, I would have cashed it out, right? I was like,
Sure,
I'm out,
sure.
dude. Like,
But,
there's no way this is happening again,
but
right?
now you could come into crypto with the proper
Yeah.
mindset because you've learned the lesson. You're like, okay, I know what it does. Like, say, for example, you came and bought 1,000,000 hex. That'd cost you about
Okay.
3,500, $4,000 today. If you bought 1,000,000 hex. But what happens if you hold that for 4 years?
Yeah,
What happens if you hold that
that's
for
kind of
6
like
years? You
put
know?
your that's money you got to forget about. Look, I want to go back to some of these comments here, Corey, because some of them are pretty freaking good, right? So
Yeah.
conversations with Kent, he's saying real estate investors are hilarious to me. They make a few bucks and they all think they're Grant Cardone or Donald Trump. So look, man, you gotta understand.
I kind of thought I was Grant Cardone for a little bit, dude. I'm just like, you get that way when you're high rolling at the
The,
top of your,
look, Corey, most real estate guys, we come from nothing. Like,
that is true.
we
I
come
was
from
broke.
having more month at the end of our money. You understand that? Like, if the 15th of the month we run out of money and we still got another 15 days to go. All right, so
we got, we were,
of course we're gonna fucking feel like Uncle G and Donald Trump. When you start making 50,000, 100 grand a month, and next thing some people make,
2, 3. I had
I
$400,000
did too,
months.
dude. I had net. Look, Corey,
Now,
in 2017, net half a million net. I was flipping 50 houses at a time.
oh yeah, that's right.
I was
Yeah,
moving
that's,
fucking millions
yep.
of dollars on properties, right? So, you start making money like that when you didn't have 50 bucks to your name, you're gonna feel like one of these guys. I felt like one of my ego got
Yes.
so fucking big it was out of control, dude.
Oh,
You know?
you can't help but it's gonna happen, man. And we all have to learn our lesson, right? But like, I feel like it's just a journey that everyone has to go through once they kind of tap into wealth. And dude, it's not just in real
No,
estate.
no,
So
no.
I mean, I don't know
Hey,
who commented that, but you
shout
see
out
it
to
in
Ken. That's a
crypto
great
too.
comment. He's right.
You see it in crypto. You see it in every industry. Like, I remember when everybody was getting rich off the fucking Amazon stores, dude. Like, thinking,
Diamond gold
oh my
chains
god,
and
dude, I don't want
shit,
to mention his name on
like,
here. Yeah, dude. And they were like, and it was like, okay, you guys, and they were shitting all over real estate investors back then, and that's when what we were doing. And I remember that phase, dude. And they were like driving Lambos, and I'm like, all right, guys. And yeah, so it's not just real estate investors. It's when you come into a large sum of money in general. It's just humans, man. It's who we are as people, and then we have to learn, like, okay, let's not let our emotions take over and let our ego take over, right? We
everybody
have to take a
has a
step
growing
back
phase,
and be
man. And like,
humble.
look, I was in the
Yeah,
brother.
you
I was
have to be
in
humble.
the U.S. Navy, and I joined the U.S. Navy because I was so freaking broke. I just needed a job to provide for my daughter some insurance and some child support, right? And then after that, I go to the oil and gas business where I'm start making 6 figures a year, and then multiple 6 figures with a job. Okay, and hey,
Yeah.
now I got a good lifestyle. And that's when I started investing in real estate or learning how to invest in real estate. And I start fixing and flipping and being a landlord and all that. But that's all I knew. How do I know? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't hanging out with a Wall Street guy that would show me how to do, I don't know, um, stocks or whatever. I picked
Stocks.
up a book
Well,
one day,
right.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, y- right?
Great book, by the way. Everyone should
Right? You
read that
find
who's
yourself in
watching.
one of the quadrants, and you're like, I'm a fucking dumbass because I'm on
Yep.
quadrant number two. I should be on four, but I'm on two. How do I get to four? Right? So look,
Yep.
going from
That's it.
quadrant number one to quadrant number four is a journey, right? So everybody goes through their journey.
Yeah,
Today, there's
they
nobody
do.
with enough money that will impress me. I'm no
No,
bro. So where my dad lives, I'll give you an example, Corey. Where my
you being a good friend of mine impresses me.
that's it. Like,
That's
what
what
kind of
impresses
human are
me.
you? Like, what are you
Yeah.
impacting the world in a positive way? Are you serving your community? Are you a good husband? Are you, are you fitting all this?
Yes.
Are you a good father?
Good
Also,
father.
like, because if you treat your children like shit, are you gonna you're gonna treat
Oh,
everybody else
then
like
yeah.
whatever, right? So you got a lot of
Yep.
people that got a lot of money and they don't have those qualities. I don't care for them. I don't. Forget, dude. Where my dad lives. You know what he's cul-de-sac. You know what it's called in Miami? The ten
Mm.
billion dollar cul-de-sac. They're all.
Oh, really?
What do you call the 100 millionaires? Is deca millionaires is the ones that are tens of millions, but they're all 100 millionaires, and so
Yep.
that's what they call it. The $10 million cul-de-sac. And these guys are dressed in jeans and t-shirts, and they drive Teslas and shit. No fun. Some of them got their G wagons or whatever. Because I mean, that's like whatever.
Sure.
But at the end of the day,
And that's fine. It's fine to have a nice
of
car.
course,
It's fine to have a nice house. But what I always tell people, what makes the person, well, here's what money is. Money is an amplification of the person you already are. If you're a piece of shit human being when you're broke, you're going to be a
even worse.
bigger piece of shit human being when you're rich. I'm talking 10 times the piece of shit, right? And same if you're a good person, if you're the good father, good husband, and you're good with your community and like you give back, you love to give, you're going to be that times 10 when you get money. It's just an amplification of who we already are. That's all money is. And so like that's why you need wealthy people in this world, good wealthy people. We want them. They make a world a better place. But if you have shitty people who are rich
Hey,
and make
Corey's
money.
looking fit, man. I saw him on my last event in Houston a couple of months ago, and I was impressed. I must say, Corey's got a six pack now, and he's all ripped and stuff. So good for you, Corey.
It's what I'm doing on this tropical island, man. There's nothing else to do. And like while we're waiting for crypto to pump, like you just get bored. You're like, man, I have to go to the gym every day. That's the great thing about owning your own time again. Like I go to the gym all day long. I go to have my family. Like I could do what I want to do instead of like being a slave to the dollar. It's
So
and it's been
let's talk
nice, man.
about
It's
helping
been
people,
nice to
right?
work on my
So
health.
you got a community. How are you guys operating under that community?
So the community that we have, right, what it specializes in for the most part is it's really it's I don't want to say it's all entrepreneurs, but it is for all entrepreneurs, but 98% of them are real estate
Well, that's
entrepreneurs.
our
That's where we
niche.
come
So
from.
that's our niche, right? So
That's who it's our
we've been
niche,
hanging
right?
out
It's
for
who we
real estate
are.
forever, and
It's I speak the language, and plus I've done a lot of deals. I've done a lot of deals with almost, and a lot of the people who in our community I've done deals with. And a lot of the guys in my community came from my Novation Nation mastermind too. Like, and so like, yeah, so it's easy to explain this stuff to them. And real estate investors, they want exposure into this asset class, and they want it a way where they're not going to get scammed. They want it a way where they're,
his shirt's so tight I can see his nipples.
come on, man.
The
Jeez,
Belgian
how I
Mexican.
made.
Shout out from Houston. Hey
Um,
man, I live in Katy, but guess where I'm at right now? Maracaibo, Venezuela. I'm in South America, so I live in between both worlds. Um, yeah. So go ahead, Corey. I'm sorry. I
But yeah, so we that's who we cater to is the real estate entrepreneur for the most part because they want exposure, they want it in a safe way. They have a business they're operating, so they don't have time to sit and dive deep on this stuff. So we do all the deep diving, we do all the research, all the due diligence, and they just follow along with us. And then we have the community of of like-minded people who are on the same trajectory that is basically here for wealth they're in crypto for wealth creation, and then they're using the real estate side for wealth preservation. And that's kind of the full synopsis of the community. And we even have a trust. We call it the DeFi Wealth Trust for our community, where if they want to take profits in crypto and go to real estate, or maybe vice versa, they're selling some real estate and go into crypto, they could do all this tax deferred inside this trust. And it's a DeFi trust, so you could hold your own keys. We onboarded the trustee, we onboarded the attorneys, we onboarded, the
I don't know. Shout out to Tony
the
Dixon and
tax
JJ and
strategist,
those guys.
strategist.
You met them on one of my events, and then next thing I know, they're in your community. Yeah,
They're in our community. Yeah, JJ and Tony. Yep. And see, those guys are. I don't know if they're real estate entrepreneurs. They own their own business, so we don't only cater to real estate entrepreneurs. It's just who we usually speak to. So
good deal, man. So let's talk about the basics, right? Some of these guys wanna talk about the tech, which, by the way, most of these people probably know those things. Guys, remember, if you guys are already crypto investors and you're at a higher level, keep in mind this is a dumbed down conversation for the ones that are not into
right,
crypto, are into real estate. Hey, and maybe they're looking for a better light. Okay, maybe they're looking for another alternative. Maybe they're dabbling in crypto. Maybe they want to learn what Corey and you guys are doing. Um, there's always a better way, right? There are multiple vehicles. I know people that are multimillionaires selling watches. I know people that are multimillionaires selling
yeah,
cars. I know people that are multimillionaires selling real estate.
yep,
It's just the vehicle that we pick, which I don't think there is a better vehicle than the other one. Some people, oh, fucking crypto is better than everything else. What if I don't fucking like it? Then it's not my vehicle,
right. It might not
right?
buy with you.
But what if I sell people like human resources, right? Like a VA company, yeah, that's my vehicle. Or my events, that's another vehicle I have. Like you gotta have multiple vehicles, right? So
Yep.
let's talk about the crypto vehicle on a dumbed down version. What are the
Okay.
basics, Corey, on how you guys do crypto?
So, depending on what your goals are, I'll try to keep it very simple. Let's just say that you're looking for a
Okay.
little bit of
What's a little
passive
bit of
income.
passive income? Let's
That's it.
define that.
A little bit of passive income is like 70 to 90% annual percentage yield a year. Okay, so you put $100 in, you make $70 back over the year, right? So that's pretty good. It still
That's
doesn't
good.
hit
Hey, yeah, I
everything
love
else.
it. I love it. Hey, why not?
There's
I'm
all just
laughing right here, man. So good.
He's an OG, man. He's been in Bitcoin since
Good deal.
2011 or some shit, dude. He's yeah, OG Bitcoin guy, OG Hexakin.
Crypto don't care
Briz is
about
great.
people's feelings. I love that. Hey, that's my kind of business too. I don't care. It's not for everybody, but hey,
So let's talk about one of the basics that's very easy to understand, though. So I'll make it real simple. What's Coinbase's business model? Very easily put, they offer up
yep,
assets, crypto assets, for the market, me and you, to come and buy and sell through, and they make fees. That's
okay,
their business model, right? In fact, Binance, their business model of doing that makes $24 billion a year. $24
wow,
billion a year by just offering up crypto assets for the market to trade back and forth in between. Well, in DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance, we don't use Coinbase. We don't use Binance. So where do I buy my assets from? Well, it's easy.
off
Peer to
market.
peer. Let's say I own
All right,
off market. Yes, off market deals are
all the
better than
time.
on market deals too. You want to all the time get them before they hit centralized exchanges. Get your real estate before it hits MLS. But let's say I own Hex and I own Pulse. These are two assets that are in DeFi that you can't buy on a centralized exchange. You can't buy this on Coinbase. So how do I buy them? Well, me as the owner of these two assets, I could put them in a liquidity pool. I know it might sound complicated, but all I'm doing is I could put them up for the market to trade back and forth in between. Now I'm the Coinbase. I'm the Binance. I'm making all the fees. Cryptocurrency gives the opportunity to small players that only big centralized entities used to have. Because in DeFi, we don't have big centralized entities. It's great. And so you could have these opportunities, and by just holding the assets, you're going to hold anyways. So say you're going to hold Hex and Pulse anyways, because you think they're going to go up in value, which they will. Not financial advice, but they will. They're going to go up in value. Okay, well, while you're holding them, you could put them to work for you, and you could be the Coinbase. So it's a very easy concept. You could be the Coinbase, and then the marketplace is trading in between these, and you're making all the fees. And you can make anywhere from as little as like 10% APY all the way to like hundreds of percents of APY doing this strategy. It's called liquidity providing. Very simple. Once you put the assets to work for you, you don't do anything. Your computer and the assets do all the work. You don't got to do anything. You want to check on it once in a while. We help our community members, of course, if they want to go and readjust or add more to it, or maybe take it out. Very simple. And this is just one. This is one strategy. There's a bunch of them in crypto, but it's one of the most simplest to kind of understand because everyone knows the business model of Coinbase. And that's all you're doing. You're just being the Coinbase.
Okay, so let's pretend I'm a W-2 guy. Okay, I have a regular job. I'm an engineer. Maybe I'm on, I don't know, whatever, accountant, and I work with, I don't know, some oil company or whatever. And I do have a fixed salary. Let's pretend I make 80 grand a year, okay? Which is not
Sure.
little money, not a lot of money. It makes a
It's
good
a
living,
living.
right? And it's
Yeah,
90%
it's
of
a
the people
living.
out there are on those kind of jobs, right? So let's talk
Sure.
to those guys. I know about, this is I learned from my father, who's actually in the insurance business, and he's actually a crypto investor. Not the way you do it; he does it different. I've been telling him to join your group, but he doesn't. He just doesn't pay attention to me. It's the son telling the dad what to do, right? So forget that.
Yeah.
Right,
I've met
you
your
know my
dad too,
father.
so
So and
yeah.
let's say I want to do dollar cost average,
Yeah, it's a
right?
great
With
strategy.
DeFi, like
Yeah.
how would that work?
Very easy, man. So every paycheck you receive, which because you're on a nine to
Yeah.
five now, we're talking 9 to 5 guys, you're making 80 grand a year. You're going to be receiving money on the biweekly. Ideally, some guys
Right.
make money monthly, depending on your payroll. But like you receive that paycheck, make sure your bills are taken care of first. Make sure your family's taken care of. You never put money in that you need tomorrow. I tell that people. I say, oh, don't put money you can't afford to lose. I don't say that
Well, you
because
don't want to
we
bet to
don't
lose.
lose.
You
We
don't
just
you don't want to
don't
invest to lose. And you're
we don't bet to
investing. Like
lose,
that's
but
another
we want to
thing.
make
We're not
sure
betting here. We're investing.
we're investing. And you want to make sure though you don't need the money tomorrow. Like I don't want to go put in 50 grand and then like, oh shit, I don't have my mortgage payment, I don't have my car payment, I don't have food for the I'm like, damn, I got to pull that money back out again. Like that's not what we want. We want to make sure we have the capability of having a delayed gratification mindset in crypto. That's the hard part too, to have a delay because people want to trade, they want to sell, they want to buy the newest shit coin of the week. You need to have a delayed gratification mindset. And so dollar cost averaging, yeah. So you have maybe you have $1,000 at every paycheck that's
Let's not even.
spendable
I want to
that you
hit a
can
different
actually.
demographic. So let's talk about maybe all I got is $200 a month to invest. I know it's not a lot of money. It doesn't get you excited, but let's say I start putting a couple $100 a month into something like Hex, but you
Yep.
mentioned earlier, right?
Yep.
Like I said, it's a lunch or a dinner with your family out on a restaurant, right? And you're not
Dinner with your family. Yep.
sacrificing your finances, like you said. You're not late on your mortgage. You're still making your car note if you have one. I don't have them anymore. Like I don't care for notes anymore. I don't want to work. I don't want to work for the
I don't.
bank.
I hate them.
Um, but I want to go put just a couple of $100. An investor like that,
Yep.
Corey, what can they expect to gain in a year's or maybe 2 years time after diligently putting a couple of $100, a couple of $100, a couple of $100? what can they learn? What can they see? Because they're learning while they invest just a little bit of money, right?
Sure. Yeah, and I'm gonna end up
Yeah,
throwing a curveball here, which is so understanding crypto from an investor standpoint, you need to understand it, the
right,
timing of the cycles. Cycles are very volatile in this asset class. Real estate, in fact, I know you know this, I'm sure, but real estate has about an 18.5-year cycle. So
yeah.
that
We're hitting a
you know,
cycle right now. We're hitting
and then
some weird ass
we're
cycle.
hitting
Yeah,
towards the top. Yeah, and we could see maybe a correction, or maybe it can go down, maybe not. Who knows? In fact, I hope we kind of do see a correction because I like to pull some profits out of crypto this year, and maybe even
buy some
go
more
back
real
into a little bit of
estate.
real estate. Nothing wrong with that. That's
Yeah,
the wealth preservation side of things. But cycles have to be studied and understood for a DCA strategy to work. You do not want to be DCAing in the midst of the bull run. That's when you don't want to be DCAing. That's when you want to be selling. That's when you want to be exiting your portfolio and taking some chips off the table and going back the other way. So understanding cycles is so important in this asset class because most people lose money in crypto. This is a number one fact. Most people lose money in crypto because they come in during the bull run and start dollar cost averaging in or start buying, and then next thing they know, they get crushed on their portfolio because the value goes down 90% because they went into a bear market. They don't understand that they bought because of the euphoria, because their barber cutting their hair said, "Hey, I made a 50 grand on a dog coin." "Oh, really? What dog coins you make it on?" And they want to go home and buy that. No, that's when you should go home and sell. So understanding that and foremost is the most important thing, is where you're at in the cycle. After that, if you can recognize that you're in a bear market in a cycle, that you have a good 3 years, because cryptocurrency works in 4-year cycles, to dollar cost average in, you put a couple $100 a month. Let's just do some quick math real fast. 200 times 12, let's say that's $2,400 a year. Let's say you were able to get good 3 years of that in of dollar cost averaging in. That's about $7,200. Well, if you go into something like Hex and you're buying the bottom of the bottom ranges, not buying the top, they're in the bull run. That's the key. That's the key here. But dude, seriously, Hex might do 100x this cycle, very easily do 100x. I think that's not out of, I'm being conservative. Hex did a
wow.
10,000x last cycle. I'm being very conservative. Dude, a 100x would give you $720,000 off of your DCA. It's almost $1,000,000. You would have done that over the course of a 4-year
Some
cycle
people will be
by
afraid of
throwing it.
like that like the Thai beautiful girls. That's too good to be true, right? So
Yes, but understanding cycles is the most critical part about that strategy. Is you have to understand when we to put the money in and when to stop and start pulling money back out. It is so critical. And even like Brizology here, somebody he stays in stable coins, so you strike when he sees a deal. It's very similar. It's like, even though he's got a good point, maybe they're coming in with $200, putting it in stable coin, which is a dollar on the blockchain. I love this strategy, and you're holding it there until you see a nice dip. Just like in real estate, we want to buy things that are
that's right.
60% off, 80% off. We love good deals, right? Like in real estate, we're like, "Oh my God, we just got the deal of the century." It's the same in crypto. Maybe you wake up and one of the whales, he hit market sale and it's down 80% on the day. Well, shit, there's your opportunity. Go strike. Buy with that money that you've been putting in, that $200 every of the week, and you got maybe you got like 5 grand there sitting, and you can strike and buy that opportunity. That's how you get your 100x. Boom. That's how you get it. And is looking for the good deals. And it's just like real estate,
To the
man. It
moon,
really
right?
is.
We got the rockets here.
To the moon, baby. But that's, and I'm being very conservative there. I mean, who knows how Hex can go in one cycle? And now, if we're talking multiple cycles, it can go way higher than 100x, right? Like, who knows what Hex will be worth 8 years from now? That could be, 1.5 million, 2 million, 3 million. I don't know. Like, that's the great thing about crypto, is that it's the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. It breaks our brain to see how high it goes. Bitcoin did over a 7 million X. Meaning, if you put $1 in Bitcoin when it first came out in 2009, which you kind of experienced this a
Yeah,
little
so
bit,
Brisology says right here,
it would have
right?
turned into
Like, it
$7 million.
does sound too good to be true, but a fact is that Bitcoin did 100x and we only did
And we
10,000x
only
so
did
far.
10,000X
So,
so far.
and 100 million X, right? So,
Isn't it wild?
uh,
It's wild. And even a 10,000X, Ricardo, if you put $1,000 into something and it does a 10,000X, that's $10 million.
hey, how do I
That's a
open that wallet, dude?
10,000X.
I gotta get me one of them wallets. You know,
How
I
do I
got
get
shut
this?
down on Coinbase. My wallet got shut down, dude. You know why?
Oh, shit. They are. The Coinbase is always shutting people down, though.
I
What
was
do they? What do they
paying
tell you?
my payroll in South America with crypto.
Oh, you tell me about that.
So I make all those guys open up like Binance accounts and things like that. And because to get the US dollar here in Venezuela is very hard. So what I figured is like, oh, okay, I'll just convert it to crypto, and from crypto, boom, I'll send it to their wallet and everybody's
Yep.
happy. They didn't fucking like that.
Everyone gets paid.
So they're like, no, we just don't like you paying $30,000-$40,000 payrolls through crypto, through all these wallets that you got down in Venezuela or something. And I'm like, what?
It looks, yeah, it looks kind of crazy. I'll tell you
So
that.
so yeah, I want to know more on how I can probably utilize tools like the ones you use, even for payroll purposes.
Oh, and DeFi, you can do that all day long and not have any middleman
Yeah.
shut you down. It's very easy. Everyone just has their own custodial wallet, whether it just be a soft wallet like a MetaMask, that's fine. Or if they want to get really become more serious, you get a Trezor hardware wallet, and this way you don't get scammed or you don't get hacked. It almost makes you kind of unhackable if you know how to use this the proper way, and then that way you can send them money no matter where they're at in the world, Ricardo. It don't matter what time at night. Don't matter what day of the week it is. None of it matters. My brother, he sent me, and this was like a few months ago, and he wanted to do some pulse chain miners. And he sent me 20 grand worth of pulse. And it was Sunday night, 1 a.m. I'm here in Puerto Rico. He's in Arizona, and he sends it over the blockchain on pulse chain. I receive it in about 10 seconds.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, and there's no one will ever stop you to do that. Now you have to educate your employees a little bit to understand, okay, how do I receive this money? How do I cash it out?
I think
How do
talking
I,
to you, I got another idea also. Like, how can I make a pool of their money? Because they got a problem, Corey. They go spend
they
it.
spend it.
They go spend
Yeah.
every freaking penny, man.
Sure.
And they make good money. Like some of those guys, they live rich. Like one of my guys, bro, he's clubbing every weekend. Like you follow his Instagram, this dude is the fucking he's
He's
living
living
the
the
life
life,
down
man.
here
Good for him.
at the clubs,
That's
bottle
all right, man.
services,
Bless his
fucking
heart. He's
girls
got to
all
do
over,
it.
right?
Get it out of your
And I'm
system.
like, bro, what are you
We
doing
did
with
it.
your money? Like, I just had a great weekend. I was like, no, dude, like, I'm not saying don't go have a good weekend, but like, pay yourself first. Like, put some of that money
Damn.
aside, right? So
Yeah.
I was wondering, I said,
100%.
okay, so let's pretend I go to all my guys here. I got, I don't know, 30, 40 people. And I said, hey guys, how about we all pitch in $50 a week on and put it on a pot, right? So if you got, I don't know, let's say it's
Great.
20 people and that say, yeah, I want it, because some of them are not gonna do it. So 20 times 50, 20 times 50, that's 1,000. So that's a
It's about
thousand.
$1,000.
So we start putting $1,000 collectively in between those guys on a hex like the one you're talking about, right? And then we go
And right now is a good timing for it. You're entering in right at the
right.
cusp of the bull. You right now is a great time to do that. And that $1,000 might be $100,000, in 6 months. I don't know, right? Like
No,
I
of course, no,
never
I don't, and
financial
I don't
advice
want to
on my
promise them
show, your
something, and
show,
they're gonna
but
be like,
it,
"You fucking
but it
lied to
could,
me!"
right?
Like, and
In
I'm like,
100
"No,
grand
like this is a
now.
risk we're all taking together, right?" So
Now your boy's weekend night out at the club with 100 grand, man, he can really He can really get it out of his
This guy
system
sounds like
then.
he's begging to learn about hashtag. Of course. Yeah, I mean, and I know I call Corey. He'll give me a 2 hour rundown on a Zoom call any day when I'm ready to do that, right? So, um,
Yeah, NJ Dub probably came in the middle of this. He's a real
okay,
estate guy, NJ Dub.
yeah,
Ricardo's a real estate guy. Yeah, he probably came in the middle of the show. So they're usually used to watching my show. And so yeah, really Ricardo's he's not
yeah.
a
I'm
crypto
not. I
guy.
used to be,
So
way before you guys came on up with all these crazy things, right? Like
yeah,
crazy because I don't know them, right? Like, but I know mining, I know Coinbase, Binance, those things, and I had a lot of money on those
yeah,
accounts at some point. But then I was like, I know how to make more money on real estate, so I'll pull it out and go do real estate, right? That's what I
yeah.
know. So
It's what you
yes,
know.
you are right. I gotta get myself educated, NJ, on doing some hacks and all these DeFi that
Hundred
you guys are
percent.
talking about. And I love the idea, right? Because it's something different, it's new. Well, maybe it's new for me, but maybe not for you guys. Um, and it's entertaining. Like it's like every time you do something new, is new beginnings. New beginnings is
Oh, it's
fun. It's
fun.
like you get excited again, right? It's like we were talking
Yeah.
about this earlier on the call. It's like you got burned out of doing real estate. I did too. And at some point you're like,
Shit.
man, and then you find something new and you're excited all over again, right? And so this is what this podcast is
Yes.
more for the real estate people, guys, than you guys that are 100% involved in crypto investing today. Because I know for a fact that what Corey has is the light at the end of the tunnel for many. So it might not have been for me. I know you've been going to my events now for 2 years, right? Yeah, with
Two
crypto. I'm
years,
I'm
man.
talking about
Yeah.
you've been going to my events for 5 years.
With crypto, yeah, because before that
That's
it was
right.
my Novation Nation.
And
Yeah,
a
when I
lot of
used to come.
my attendees have actually are part of your community today. Thanks to you showing them
Yep.
how to get enrolled and how to do all of these things. Um, so Corey, how can people get in contact with you for maybe a consultation, maybe to take a peek at what you had?
Yeah. Socials are the best way, man. To be honest with you, it's me who answers my DMs. It's not like a VA or anybody. But Corey Geary on Facebook, just how it's spelled right here, Corey Geary. It's the Corey Geary over on Instagram, and then Twitter. You can find me there. That's where I kind of my crypto following, and that's where I'm more crypto centric. And that's Corey Geary also. And then I also have the DeFi Crypto Alliance show over on YouTube, which is what all these guys are coming from, is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show. And shout out to Crypto Seven. What up, my man? He's got a really big show.
Shout out
Also,
to
he's
everybody, man.
a
We
big
had a lot of
influencer in
people.
the
Brisology,
yes.
NJ. NJ says, no, it's funny that everything he said just goes back to why you should stake Hex. Wasn't trying to make fun of him or anything. Hey, I get it. And you know what? You guys can make all the fun in the world about me. I could care less. Like, I give two shits about whoever makes fun of me. Anyhow, it's all good, man. Just drop your comments. Hate on me if you want to. I'll take it. I know you're not hating, NJ. I'm just making fun, man. No hard feelings or big deal. Crypto Seven says, I disagree. It is excellent to hear from real estate guys and their experience with crypto. So my experience with crypto started when I was a W two guy, and then I started doing real estate while I was still a W 2 guy, just like I started doing crypto while I was a W 2 guy. So everybody has a journey, right? You guys are ahead
Yeah.
of the pack, right? So you're already more sophisticated than most crypto investors. That people that buy one Bitcoin, they think they're gonna go fucking get rich tomorrow, right? So
Right.
it's just a journey. I'm pretty sure some of the people that are in your group, Corey, at some point they were working in McDonald's, and today they probably got fucking millions of dollars
Oh, for
worth of stuff,
sure.
right?
Oh, I've got guys in our group that are way wealthier than me too, right? Like they've done really well for themselves, and they come in and like, look, Corey, they've got 5 businesses, and they're like, hey, I got $1 million. Look, all I want to do is participate in crypto. You tell me what buttons to push, and I'm gonna go run my business. I don't want anything. I don't want to manage it. I don't want to deal with it. Just show me the where to put the money at, and then tell me when to sell. Okay, good. Let's do it. And then I'll walk them through, because some of these guys are so busy, man. They are seriously busy, and they don't have time to be like we are here, like I am, like Dane is. These guys in the chat, we eat, sleep, and breathe this shit.
Where's
Like, this is all
Dane,
we
by
do
the
all day
way?
long. Like he's here, man. He's not very public, I guess I would say. He don't come on the shows very often. But he's out here in Puerto Rico
Bro,
still, and we
he
still
should
have
be
he's
more in front of the
partner in the
camera. He's
business.
such a likable guy, bro. You know,
He is a
that
likable
fucker is
guy.
good looking. He's always got a smile on him. You know, he's got the. If you meet him in person, he's gonna have those shoes with the. I don't know.
The
Yeah,
black
yeah, the sparkles and
black
shit,
sparkles,
and
yeah,
you know,
the
yeah, LVs. He's got LVs,
Louboutins,
you know. So
red
and
bottoms.
he's. I think he's always got this. He's always like happy, which is hard to like
Yeah,
because I also carry a smile around, but Dane is at another level, man. So shout out to Dane, man.
yeah,
Hopefully, I'll get Dane here on the call pretty soon. So uh,
we'll do it, dude.
there's
I'll
a
get him on
question
here.
here that it
I'll get
goes,
him on.
this is for you, Corey. Where can I buy XA whatever 1Z token in pre-sale? All bloggers are promoting it. So
I don't know it. I don't know it. It's if I don't know it, if I'm not familiar with it, I can't speak to it. Who knows if it's a good token or not? The problem with cryptocurrency is 98% of all of it is shit.
yeah.
That's just the truth. And so that's why I
Hey, and
won't
that's good to
comment
know too,
on
right?
if I
Because a
don't
lot
know
of
about
people
it.
are giving out their
Yeah,
false information, like this coin is gonna go to the fucking moon,
it's
and it goes to
oh
hell,
god,
not to the
bro, you have
moon,
no
right?
idea.
So
It's it's full of shit and scammers, and you just got to know how to operate. I mean, this space is the one of the few spaces that are unregulated, right? There's not a lot of regulation here, and that's been a good thing, because like where there's no regulation, you can have a lot of opportunity, but that's also mean a lot of bad
bad
guys are
actors,
here,
right?
unfortunately. So it's just how, yeah, it's just the two sides of the coin, right? And you just got to know how, as an investor, how to navigate the space, and that's it. That's the key, right? You just got to know how to navigate, know what to look for as far as landmines, and that token could be great. I don't know, but I've never
It
heard of
says
it, so
right
it's
here, I
something I don't
guy
speak to.
says Corey's a great crypto coach. I tell you what,
I appreciate it, man.
Corey's a great
Appreciate that.
coach. It doesn't matter what he's coaching on, as long as he has mastered it.
Yeah, back to my real
He has
estate days.
coached. He coached me in Novations. So
Yeah,
I learned
that was
Novations
good,
from
man.
you. Guess what? We still use all your paperwork.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see my paperwork everywhere in the industry now. Like I see other coaches who are selling programs, and I'm like, oh, I don't care. It's like, like for me, it's like I made my stamp in the industry. Like I got to be able to and it's not like I created the paperwork. My attorneys did. Like I paid them to create the paperwork, and then like now it's like everywhere in
So
the industry. I'm like, oh, I love that. Like at least I
yeah, we
kind of
still
left
use
my
your stuff, like because we still do some deals, and um, and you coach me on Novations, and I seen you coach people in wholesaling and now crypto, and so I think once you're a good coach and you go master a subject, you're going to be a good coach at that as well. So shout out to iGuy for giving you the props there. NJ
yep.
says I was at McDonald's but recently got promoted to Burger King, moving up slowly and surely, right? I love that. Scam bots, right? So I guess that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, they're scam bots
Corey been
everywhere.
working
Yep.
out his shoulders. Yeah, we touched up on that earlier. You gotta see his nipples, right? Yeah.
Health and wealth, guys. You guys know it. Health and wealth is what
It
really
says
matters
right
in life.
here, trust no one. I only trust that Richard Harth when he stood on the truth and transparency. I don't know who that guy is, but hey, if that's who you trust, go for it, right?
Richard Hart's
Right.
the
That
creator
he's
of Hex
okay. So there you go.
Impulsion.
You talked about him earlier, right? So, um,
Yep. He just beat the SEC, actually. He's one of the only founders who beat the SEC. He beat them. They didn't let like XRP, they made a deal, they made a settlement. And so that's a big deal. He actually beat them. He went to court. He used Elon Musk attorneys and beat them and
I
won.
love that.
It's fucking
Do you know
insane,
I know
dude.
a similar story like that, and it has
Insane.
nothing to do with crypto. Well, it may have something to do with crypto, but back in the days, in the 1930s, the government wanted to tax insurance company for paying out life insurance death benefit policies. Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Whoa.
So, which today actually, if you die and you have a life insurance policy, which I suggest everyone here should have one at least for coverage or whatnot. Um, if let's say you got $1 million, your beneficiary has to pay 30% or whatever percentage, right, on that
Oh
death
my
benefit.
God.
And
That's
most of
so
the
long.
insurance companies at the time um, said, I guess we're gonna have to pay that because the IRS says so, right? But there was one company called National Life who said, "The hell with that. That is not earned income." And so, and they said that is not this and that
Right.
and that. So they went against the U.S. government. So there is a lawsuit if you Google it, National Life Insurance Company against the United States government for that fact, and they won. So what you just told
And they
me on
won.
Richard happened maybe 100 years ago on the insurance industry, right? Back then, that was like the new
Wow.
thing: insurance,
That was
investing,
a big,
right?
yeah, it was a huge deal.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's not abnormal for every now and then to have an outlier like that. That with the guy from National Insurance called every CEO of all the companies, and those guys said, "No, we're not gonna go against the United States government. We're just gonna comply with the tax, with the tax cut or the tax pay or whatever." And he said, "No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go fight the government," and he did, and he won. So today, the death benefits are paid out in full thanks to that guy.
Wow. And
True
most people don't
story,
even
man.
know
True
it, you
story.
know?
Go,
It's
go. I've been in the
crazy.
insurance business, also around the insurance business all my life, so that's why I know those things. Um, so anyhow, right here we says round tripped 1.1 million BTC after taking 250K profits, wanting for 100. Richard saved me from block 5. Winning hard as fuck. Hex blah blah blah. Sound double triple down. Good. I mean, it's all about education, right? We got here.
That's
Crypto
it,
Seven
dude.
said this is a fantastic time to get into Hex, Ricardo. I will get into Hex. I promise you. The next time you probably see me, I will have a wallet opened up, and Corey will be my coach.
And have some
Um,
hacks.
but man, Corey, thank you so much for being here today, brother.
This
This
was
was a
fun,
lot
dude.
of
This was a
fun.
lot of fun.
I must admit.
Bringing the crypto
I
guys
must
over here
admit,
too
you got
instead
an
of
amazing, crowd here rooting for you. Brother, I root
community.
for you too. I love you. Um,
I appreciate that. I
guys,
love
don't
you too,
forget to hit
man. I
share, like,
do.
and subscribe. If you're on Corey's channel, go make sure you go hit like and subscribe. If you want to learn about real estate, I interview nothing but the best. So go to my channel, do the same thing. We will have,
Yep.
which unfortunately I'm gonna miss you, Corey, because you're gonna be in China. But in June 27th, 28th in Tampa, Florida, we're going to have the Real Estate Entrepreneurs, a 10 growth event for the first time ever in Tampa. We will have
Ah,
200
God,
real
I wish
estate
I could go.
investors there, guaranteed. And I'm looking forward to see some of you guys there. I will be dropping some links if you guys want to attend and network with real estate people. Maybe you guys show the real estate people that there is a better way to invest, which is the crypto, right? I think show
Come
support,
support.
and you guys are all invited. By the way, Corey, if you can't go to China for some reason, you know where your home will be those days.
I know.
But with that being said,
I'll be
guys,
there.
you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you.